As the fighting spreads, so the number of refugees is growing. These are Thais who fled from their homes along the Cambodian border. At least 385,000 of them, according to the authorities here. Many fled to these same shelters during the last outbreak of fighting in July. This time it seems more serious, with clashes across 5 border provinces, leaving these people wondering if it will ever be safe to return home.
I want it to end. I want this to be the last fight to end it all.
I'm worried. I'm afraid the fighting would spread to this area because it is very dangerous.
The Thai-Cambodian border is just under 500 miles long. On Monday, the Thai army said its troops had responded to Cambodian fire on their eastern border. But Cambodia's defence ministry claimed Thai forces attacked first here. And now Cambodia is accusing Thailand of firing indiscriminately into civilian areas hundreds of miles further south.
Because of the aggressive actions by the Thai side, who opened fire first and invaded Cambodia's sovereignty, Cambodian forces have been left with no choice but to use their right of self-defence within their sovereign territory to fight against the illegal invasion.
The Thais say scenes like these mean that the ceasefire brokered by Donald Trump in October is now over. Their Prime Minister says he doesn't even remember that agreement happening, that talking to the Cambodians is pointless. And the Thais have released these pictures of their tanks firing across the border.
Thai operations focus solely on military targets to degrade Cambodia or to actually reduce the ability of the Cambodian military capabilities, while Cambodia's use of weapons continues to be directed at innocent civilians, civilian sites and medical facilities with apparent intent to cause chaos.
The longer the rhetoric from both sides intensifies, the longer these Cambodian refugees must wait for this conflict to calm down. A conflict so old and apparently so intractable that any quick fix brokered by Washington may not last. We're now joined by Dr. Petra Alderman, who's an expert in authoritarian regimes, particularly in Southeast Asia. Dr. Alderman, both sides are blaming each other for beginning this particular round of fighting. Can you make any sense of why this is happening right now and who might have caused it?
I think it is very difficult, again, to say who started this round of escalation. But I think, it is important to say that this is an ongoing conflict that, has roots in really sort of colonial history in Southeast Asia. And it has been sort of hot and cold over the years. There have been flare-ups, but this year has been particularly bad for the conflict. And this is already, a second major flare-up, with the first one happening in July, which then triggered the involvement of the US and Donald Trump. I think, the important thing to mention here is that the conflict was not resolved. So despite this signing of the so-called Kuala Lumpur Peace Accord, the root causes of the conflict were not resolved.
So are you saying that the peace agreement that Donald Trump brokered in October didn't really deal with the fundamentals of the problem?
There are tensions both when it comes to the territorial borders, but also the maritime borders between Thailand and Cambodia. And inherently, those have not been resolved. So these tensions remain, and disagreements over where the border lines remain as well. But I think the important thing to mention is that there is also a strong domestic element on part of both countries. So Cambodia, as well as Thailand, have vested interest, domestic interests, that are also fueling the conflict itself.
Well, we've seen one Thai government already fall because of the outbreak of fighting earlier this year. What are those domestic tensions? Are you saying that both sides are trying to show their domestic populations that they're tough?
On the Thai side, as you already have mentioned, there is an incredible domestic fragility. So this is already a sort of a third prime ministerial figure dealing with this conflict. Now, there is another layer in Thailand, which is obviously the military, which has never been under full civilian control, is not under full civilian control. So what Anutin signs doesn't necessarily mean in terms of, diplomatic negotiations that it will actually hold, because the military might act of its own accord.
The Thai Prime Minister is saying there's no point in talking to the Cambodians. It sounds as if they're pretty determined to give the Cambodians a bloody nose, and that this could get quite a lot bigger.
Anutin is on a borrowed time, so he got into power on the promise that he would dissolve the cabinet by the end of January and call for snap elections. And he's not particularly polling very well, so the flooding has really damaged his electoral chances. So, all of this might be a way to try and bolster and show that, he is a strong prime minister, that he is not being or doesn't let himself be pushed around by Cambodia and other things. But also there are domestic incentives on Cambodia's side. I mean, Cambodia has gotten quite a bad reputation because of the scam centers. So globally, there has been a big push. Thailand has also recently pushed on the international plane to have an independent investigation into the use of landmines by Cambodia along the Thai-Cambodian border. So there are lots of very different domestic kind of push and pull factors that will ultimately determine, how hot this conflict will get.
I suppose the big question now is, will Donald Trump re-engage? He wants the Nobel Peace Prize. He's claimed credit for the agreement that was reached in October over this conflict, and now it's exploded again. So it's all eyes on whether Washington can get both sides to talk peace.
The fact that Trump has intervened back in July was probably, quite a significant or substantial reason why both countries were brought together to a negotiating table. Both countries are export dependent, so Trump does have quite a powerful card when it comes to trade and, threatening the countries to suspend trade relations. Having said that, I think it is also important to see what his reaction will be this time round. Obviously, his focus has been very much on ending the conflict on Ukraine. So I guess it will depend how much this will heat up and how much this will escalate, whether he will want to intervene again.
It sounds what really needs to happen is that there needs to be a border commission that sits down and takes its time with both sides agreeing where the border lies. And that's not something Donald Trump can fix in an afternoon.
Not at all. You're totally right. I mean, indeed, there have been attempts, especially in the early 2000s, and there were two memoranda of understanding signed between Cambodia and Thailand to have this kind of border commission that would work towards agreeing and delimiting the actual lines.
Is there any sign of another commission being set up to sort this out?
Not at the moment, no. I don't think Thailand at the moment is actually willing to negotiate at all. The Prime Minister has sent quite a strong message saying that, Thailand is not really ready or willing to negotiate right now. So we have not really been hearing that. And to be honest, actually, Anutin, so the Thai Prime Minister, has said that he would like to maybe put it to popular referendum whether to scrap the memorandum or both memoranda of understanding altogether. And given the kind of high nationalist feelings on Thai side, polling is suggesting that people might actually be in favor of having the memoranda of understanding scrapped, which would be a backward step in any kind of, attempt to resolve this long-standing conflict.
Very ominous stuff. Dr. Alderman, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you very much.